Tomorrow, I'm going on a press trip to Amsterdam with Sony to check out the new spatial audio hardware that they've just released. And for this trip, I will be taking the Sony LinkBuds S, and my smartphone of choice for this expedition is Sony's compact flagship, the Xperia 5 Mark IV. And I'm going to be using it to film video, take photos, download movies and watch movies, play games and listen to music via a wire and wirelessly. And the Xperia 5 Mark IV has many unique features that the rest of the phones in this lineup do not have. Starting with the quick release hybrid SIM tray, which allows you to expand the memory and you don't need a SIM tool. But there's just two questions. How long will this battery last? And will it burn a hole in my hand if I put it under pressure? So I've got a taxi arriving at 5 AM to take me to London Heathrow, and I'm being ambitious on this trip and I'm going to try and film 3 videos in one day. And honestly, I don't think it's going to be possible, but I'll still try. So let's see. And on another note, if you couldn't tell, I've been practicing my coffee art. I call this one dot with squiggly line. Anyway, at this point, at this ungodly hour, the Xperia 5 Mark IV is on 100% battery with just 4 minutes screen on time, and that was probably 4 minutes of me trying to figure out what my goddamn Bravia core password was. But there was no time because the cab driver had already arrived. Okay, so it's 5:18 AM. I am on my way to Amsterdam. I have my LinkBuds S in for the journey, and I'm going to try and get a little bit more sleep here in the cab because I literally got about 4 hours sleep last night. I got to try and make 3 videos in one day. It's not going to be easy. And right now the Sony Xperia 5 Mark IV is on 98% battery. I am going to have to download some stuff on Netflix and maybe on Audible as well to listen to on the plane or watch on the plane whenever I feel like. On the way out I am going to be using the LinkBuds S, but on the way back I'm going to wire in the Sony 1000 XM3s to listen to some stuff on the way back. I might even play some games on it because I did bring the GameSir X2 Pro controller for the actual phone as well, so I might test out some gaming with 0 latency when it comes to audio playback thanks to the headphone jack. And what's interesting is in that lineup of phones that you saw in the intro of the video, this phone, the Xperia 5 Mark IV, is the only one that has a headphone jack. Anyway, I'll get some sleep now. So you might be wondering, what 3 videos am I referring to? Well, Sony have just announced a few different flagship soundbars, and the plan is to cover at least 2 of them if possible. And I know what you're thinking now. How can I drink coffee and go to sleep? Well, like Anakin Skywalker said,
"You underestimate my power."
Okay, so it's now 5:52. I'm at Heathrow Airport. I'm still so tired. What you're seeing right now is the selfie video quality. But the reality is, when it comes to this phone and shooting videos of yourself, you should definitely be considering getting the GVP TR BT. Because then that means you can kind of self-shoot footage using the primary cameras on the back. And it just so happens that I have a GVP T2 BT grip and vlog monitor in my tech backpack. All I needed now was someone to film me assembling this vlogging kit. And lucky for me, tech journalist Steve May was on hand and there to save the day. So for those of you not familiar with this gadget, this is an Xperia exclusive smartphone attachment that allows you to turn your phone into a vlogging machine, especially when combined with the vlog monitor. Okay, so it's now 7:43 AM. I'm on 83% on the Xperia 5 Mark IV. I've downloaded 2 films from, well, 2 episodes of The Lord of the Rings on the phone using data, so that's really killed the battery a little bit. And now I'm filming 4K using the vlog monitor, and yeah, it's holding up pretty well. So let's see how much battery we have left after the flight and after I've watched the 2 episodes or 1 episode of Lord of the Rings. So I've finally made it to my seat on the plane, and I thought it was a good time to test out Video Pro with the 24mm using manual focus. And do you know what they say the best thing to do in England is? Leave. So I got the Sony LinkBuds S on the go, and the battery was holding strong at 76%, and I attempted to sleep again, but with no music and just the ANC on. And yeah, I couldn't sleep. So then I thought I'd try and watch the Rings of Power again, and yeah, that didn't work either. I don't know why, I just find it a bit hard to follow, and also the flight was so damn short. In fact, I think we spent more time on the runway than in the air.
A very warm welcome to Amsterdam Schiphol Airport, where the local time now is +1 hour, so it's approaching 10:30 in the morning.
So here's some footage from the ultra-wide camera on the Xperia 5 Mark IV. And if you're wondering why I'm sat here filming a conveyor belt, well, it's because for some reason, everyone else's bags came out 30 minutes before mine. And I was actually beginning to think that they had lost my luggage, and that was frustrating. But you know what? It's nothing a cold beer won't fix. And this footage right here was shot in 4K 120 frames per second on the 5 Mark IV with the main camera. And I've slowed it down in post-editing to 25% speed. So I finally found my suitcase. Luckily it didn't go missing. And check this out, some awesome cars in this private car park. This might be the nicest car park I've ever been in. And here's a photo taken on the primary 24mm equivalent lens, and the same shot again, but this time with the ultra wide, aka the 16mm lens equivalent. It's not bad, right? And here's some footage shot on the primary camera, 4K 30 frames per second with eye autofocus tracking on. And I just want to show you what happens when you slow down a 30 frames per second footage clip. It gets real choppy, and I'm showing you this because I want to emphasize how good being able to shoot 4K 120 frames per second is, because when you slow down a 120 frames per second clip to 25% speed, the footage stays silky smooth. And I bet a lot of other smartphones out there wish they could be this silky smooth, but a lot of them can't do this. So I finally made it to the Sony #360 Spatial Sound event, and here's some random photos of some Ninja Turtles. And something tells me Master Splinter didn't teach them this technique. So at the event I got to hear the new soundbars in action with the new epic rear battery powered speakers, the RA5s. And if you guys want to hear some sound samples of the new equipment captured in 24-bit 96 kHz, I did record the demos on my H4n recorder. And actually I even got to record a proper Dolby Premiere sound room. There's only 2 of these in existence in the Netherlands, so that you can compare that to the new soundbars from Sony with the additional speakers. So make sure you're subscribed with your notifications on for that video, which is coming soon. And at the event I also got a lot of insight into how spatial audio is tuned and mastered behind the scenes from real professionals who work in the space. So anyone that said that I don't have a clue about these things, you'd be right if you said it before 1 PM on this day. Anyway, now let's check in on the battery life on the 5 Mark IV. So lucky there's a really nice screen time widget that you can add to the home screen here. But check this out, when you tap on it, you can actually see all of the apps that I've used throughout the day. And you can see I've been using the Video Pro the most. 26 minutes I've been shooting 4K, I've been shooting 120 frame slow-mo with manual focus and stuff like this. WhatsApp has been blowing up, of course. YouTube's also been going. I did try to use the Bravia Core. The problem with the Bravia Core is you couldn't download to watch offline, so I couldn't really watch anything on that offline. But you can see all of the stuff that I've done so far today. Screen on time has been 2 hours, 13 minutes. Still going pretty strong. It did get a little bit warm when I was filming 4K earlier on, but apart from that, I haven't noticed any overheating. So there was a lot of cool stuff to see at the stamp studio, including these magical amethyst crystals. So I took a few photos in the RAW format using the exclusive Sony Xperia Photography Pro app with manual settings. And I really want to see what I'm able to bring out of these photos. So check this out. This is the unedited RAW image, and here is my Lightroom version. I did crop it into the square format because that's what social media likes. And I really tried to pull as much detail out of the shadows and bring back the detail in the highlights. And I think, honestly, it looks pretty damn good. And here's an interesting fact for you. The Greek gods believed that if you drink from a cup studded with amethyst crystals, you wouldn't get drunk. And do you know what I think? Someone needs to give me one of those cups. Anyway, at this point it was time to get back to the hotel. So I'm now back from the Sony Spatial Audio event. It's 5:45, I'm on 21% battery. Been going since 4 AM this morning. And apparently this hotel has a swing on the roof. And might have to check that out. But anyway, it is. You can sing along in the lift. Hello. Elevator karaoke. Check out this view. So although I did want to run the battery down all the way before recharging it, I think I have to admit defeat, and we started the day at 4 AM. So we've done a full 12 hours plus an extra 2. So we've done 14-hour day so far. When it comes to screen on time, let's have a little look. This has been the usage so far, 3.5 hours. I have been using Video Pro a lot throughout the day. And that, as you know, is a killer, and it does make the phone heat up when you're shooting 4K as well, so that's really drained most of the battery life. This, I have to emphasize, is not a normal day for me. I'd probably not use the Video Pro on a normal day, so this battery would still be going strong 14 hours down the line. And yeah, so I'm quite pleased with it so far. I am going to have to boost it up now, just so I can make it to the end of the day, and yeah, I'll let you know how that goes. So at 6 o'clock, we're on 12% battery. Let's see what we can get in a half an hour. So when I said half an hour, what I actually meant was 2 hours, because my power nap ended up being a little bit too powerful and I slept for a couple of hours and the phone fully recharged. I missed dinner with the group, so I decided to start work on editing this video that you're watching now. And now, here's a big Xperia exclusive reveal for you. All of the voiceover in this very video was captured using the Xperia 5 Mark IV's exclusive Sony Music Pro app, which allows you to record a track and send it off for cloud studio enhancement. So let me know, how is the voiceover on this video? Are you impressed? And did you see that coming? Anyway, the phone was maxed out on battery again, and I spent the rest of the evening editing this video, and eventually I did go back to sleep after another cup of coffee.
You underestimate my power!
Phone is back up to 100%, and I've downloaded the Dolphin Emulator, which was one of my top 5 emulators for Android, and it allows you to emulate GameCube and Nintendo Wii games. And I think this will be probably the ultimate battery test for this phone, because emulation is it's not that efficient, let's just say that. So it's probably gonna put the phone to the test, to the maximum test. So we'll see how it holds up, and I'll let you guys know if I feel any sort of heating up on the device. So far, the only time I've experienced it is when I was filming 4K 120, and that's it. Other than that, it's actually been really good. This thing has survived a full day, a press day, not a normal day, so that impressed me. Okay, so I'm now at Schiphol Airport in Amsterdam. Flight was meant to leave at 11, it's now 11:42. Flight is delayed for around 3 hours. Xperia 5 Mark IV is on 76% battery. I've been using it a lot this morning, mainly writing stuff on Google Keep. I have fired up the Dolphin Emulator and got a few games on the go with this, the GameSir X2 Pro. This is the new controller from GameSir. It's a USB-C controller. This actually is powered off the phone's power, so it'll be interesting to see how much power it actually does draw off. Just in and around the actual airport itself, I have been using the Link Buds. I'm not worried about the battery life on these. These have been holding up really well, and the amount of noise cancellation is enough for this kind of ambient noise. But when it comes to the plain noise, I've still got my trusty old WH-1000 XM3 headphones, which are still going strong. And more importantly, when it comes to gaming and Bluetooth headphones, sometimes you can get latency, but not with one of these. So as the flight kept getting more and more delayed, I decided to get the laptop out of the bag and hotspot to it using my 5G connection from the phone. And as some of you will already know, doing this is probably the biggest battery killer of them all. And honestly, I was doing my very best at this point to push the battery to the limit to try and make it run out by the time I got home. but I was failing. And eventually I did get on the plane and I did get to play some Zelda on the Nintendo emulator, and I even listened to some master quality audio from Tidal with no Bluetooth codec compression thanks to the headphone jack. And towards the end of the flight I was on 39% battery. And eventually I did make it back to rainy old England, and I got myself a wrap, and then I ordered myself an Uber from the terminal. And when it arrived, I did continue playing Zelda, the Wind Waker, all the way home, which was around a 45-minute drive. So my final verdict after 36 hours of extensive field testing is, like most Sony products, the Sony Xperia 5 Mark IV is built to last. And I'm not talking about just battery life and performance, I'm also talking about durability, because don't tell Sony, but I actually dropped this phone on a concrete floor in the hotel. But you know what? There's not a single scratch on it. And if you're aspiring to be a creative person, or you are a creative person, the Xperia 5 Mark IV provides everything you need to succeed if you're willing to put in the effort. And on that note, if you wouldn't mind hitting the subscribe button or leaving a comment of what you thought of this video, maybe I'll make the effort to make another one of these in the future. And if you want to hear those sound demos that I spoke about earlier, the thumbnail is on screen right now, and if you click that, I will see you in the next one. So don't be late.